gonna do Garfield.
And we're live, so all everyone ever heard was "do Garfield."
Exactly. I'm gonna start with a Garfield because he's an easy design.
And also the creator, not litigious. That man has stopped giving a shit about anything he created a long time ago.
Yeah, Jim Davis is just whatever. I have my license.
Look, they made a TV show, a movie, well, 2 movies, and they put them on a soup commercial. I think I'm fine.
They made my favorite. They made my favorite one. They made my favorite Christmas movie. It is not Christmas until I watch a Garfield Christmas.
Yeah, I'm just reminded of
that. Is
that
it
scene with
campy?
Grandma
Yes.
Arbuckle.
Is it cheesy? Yes.
Is that the scene where he's sitting on the grandma's lap really sad? Yes.
Midwestern as fuck.
I mean, I just always remember that Garfield was also a failed theme park mascot for a while.
Oh yeah,
Kennywood.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Kennywood, and that trippy as balls dark ride.
Yeah. I went there when I was a kid.
Really?
Yep. It was Garfield. My mom was like, "This will be fine," because I was terrified of anything haunted or spooky when I was a kid. So it was Garfield. So my mom was like, "I'll ease you into it because like everyone in your family is like a macabre horror loving fiend. So we'll get you into it. So we'll start with Garfield. It's called Garfield's Nightmare. So even if it's spooky, look, it's Garfield." I was buried in my aunt's arm the entire time.
Can't blame you. I've seen those ride videos.
Like, I was white knuckle gripped onto my aunt the entire time.
I mean, when you have killer pizza boxes and lasagna that wants to kill Garfield, and I think there might have been some killer mice at one point.
I remember afterwards I was terrified of it, and my dad made a ha-ba-ba thing with a pizza box, and I ended up smacking my dad in the face. It wasn't like malicious. My hands were like, blah! I just baffed.
That's when your father learned fight and flight is a very important thing.
I was so jumpy.
Pizza box is my only weakness. Oh my god.
Yeah, but, no, yeah. I was buried in my aunt's arm for ages. I was scared of zombies until like I think I was 22. Yeah. No, cuz no. It was like my late teens or early 20s. Cuz like oh god, do I have a story for you? So like we were chilling. Hey Draco. We were chilling over at my friend's house, and we're going to go ahead and watch a movie. And everybody wanted to go ahead and see Dawn of the Dead. I did not like zombies at all. So I was like, there is no way as hell you're going to get me to see that movie. And my golf GF was like, man, I really want to go see that movie. And I was like, I suddenly want to go see this movie.
As you do.
Because I was like, I am a brave boy. I will see it with my girlfriend.
If you
there. I was just clutching the fucking sides of a chair the entire fucking movie. And it was so great, right? Because like after the fact, I was driving her back to her place and whatnot, and she was just like, "You doing okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm good. She goes, "Well, the reason I ask is your white knuckle gripping your steering wheel. And I was like, am I? Am I? I'm fine. And she goes also, and she points at the street light. She goes, it's been a green light for about 30 seconds. I'm like, oh no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm so fine. I'm so brave. Like,
well, no, it's real.
Reminds me of when I had a panic attack one time while driving and couldn't back up properly. To my friend was just like, "Do you want me to just drive us for like half a mile until you can like figure out how to think again?" I was like, "Yes, please." Whereas in the random part of like a part of St. Louis you do not want to be in, and my friend just like, "Yeah, we are making a scene here in your grubby ass car," which we did not know at the time. It also had the license plate stolen off of it.
Oh no!
Jeez.
dear God.
Yeah, they didn't even unscrew it; they just cut it off.
Wow.
There.
Who takes license plates?
That's what I was about to ask.
Who's some headhunter taking license plates?
Well, from what I was told by the police, they only really wanted the sticker, but it's so much harder to get the sticker off that it's sometimes easier just to take the license plate and do it at your leisure, at your own place.
Yeah.
Huh. So they wanted your tags and they took the entire enchilada, huh?
Yeah. But I think we
Damn.
got everybody now, so, Milla, you want to start bringing us
Yeah,
in?
sure. Yeah, let me just, don't mind me, I was just...
Do we want to do a robot? Do we want to do a robot roll call real quick? I'll do a robot.
Yes.
I'll do a robot roll call. I'll start from the top. Caitlin, are you here?
E.
Okay. DeLuna, you here?
Yee.
Draco, you here?
E.
All right. Elise, you here?
Perhaps.
Okay. Yeah, no, we Gucci.
You broke it, Sean. We're supposed to all go E.
Art. Hey! Scoop Cat, here.
Fuck.
It's all right, it is here.
There's my summertime man.
All right.
It's fine.
So,
Wick was here to, like, hang out with Scoop Cat. They want pets.
yes.
True.
They want pets and uppies.
I love you, marketable gore child.
He's dead now.
Rip away. He's dead now. Woo!
We have 3 more Gore Child, though.
True.
Yes.
A blooming.
So, on that very somber note, welcome one and all to tonight's episode of Chult the Personality. When last we left the expeditionaries, Zeno, the half-elf sorcerer, Enoch, the human warlock, Elise, the wood elf ranger fighter, Dan, the half-elf witch, Tyrant Bane, the minotaur paladin, and Rue, the human druid monk. The party had a meeting with Ashara, the teacher leader of the Aarakocran in the monastery of Kir Sabal, as well as the chance encounter with the royals that they had been in their charge, Princess Waxrane and Prince Na. After taking some time to get acquainted with the monastery, gathering some information from the library as well as some other rooms that were inside, the time eventually came for dinner when Ashara and the royals met with the expeditionaries to discuss their plans for how they might be able to assist in giving Waxrane her birthright as for the throne. During the course of dinner, sadly, the peace was interrupted as a call for alarm was raised, as the Kir Sabal was besieged by gargoyles, led by a fearsome four-armed foe. After a much heated battle, the party was successful in slaying all the gargoyles. But as the dust settles and the debris of the gargoyles tumbles off the cliffs to the jungle floor below, what have the casualties been so far? Why have the gargoyles attacked? And how will our party proceed? Let's find out in tonight's episode of Chult, a Personality.
You say casualties, but I distinctly remember casting Spare the Dying.
It's true. He did.
He did. We heard it.
I saw it.
That you know of.
We must tend to our injured.
Has a couple of the Aarakocra that most of you had seen flying up from below, they kind of take roost on the upper platform of the monastery, and they kind of make frantic gestures that point towards the bottom, and Rue and Enoch, given your natures, you hear frantic cries out, "Please, my mate was attacked. Are they all right?"
He's pointing down.
The ones who were saying that, you hear that above you, as you are resting in the middle gangway of the Kir Sabal. On the
Okay,
catwalk.
well, she'll fly her way over towards where she hears the voices.
All right, so you fly up.
Yep. And she'll unwindy when she's there.
As you fly up, immediately all of the other Aarakocra that up until this point haven't really noticed you in the commotion of the battle, they immediately just kind of stop what they're doing and they stare at you. I'll give Zeno, Elise, and Dan, I guess it's you're up there. I'll allow you all insight checks.
Can I have advantage because I speak speak the language?
All right. I'll give you your DC will be a little lower. I'll give you that.
13.
That's soft 20.
All right. Dan, I'll say, actually, Elise, were you gonna be inciting as well? Chaco?
Uh-oh, did we lose Chaco?
Going to assume so.
Yep,
Yeah.
sounds like it. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, he's dead.
Oh. I heard his mic light up.
Yeah. Must be like mic issues, maybe.
I guess while Chaco's getting that all sorted out, I'll say for Dan, it's definitely seems like they don't see elementals every day. As they kind of stop and look.
Understandable.
And Zeno, you get the sense that, oddly enough, it's almost like a respectable reverence that they're giving towards Rue in their elemental state. Almost like, yeah, that's...
Holy
reference.
shit, they're real type of thing.
Well, not as much that as more of, this is a being that deserves respect. And as you're pondering this a little bit, Bashara kind of steps forward. An elemental cranes her neck. She thinks about it for a moment, but then turns to a couple of her other associates. Check below and check for any other wounded. Of course, teacher. And they begin to fly down towards the other hovels below. Let's see, because correct me if I'm wrong. Did Ruru transform in front of Ashara?
She was in the room when she wimdied, so I believe so. I think. Pretty sure. Yeah, she did, because she needed to make some distance.
Okay. Do you have the power to wield the power of the elements? That is incredible.
A silent thumbs up.
And then Orangey. Perhaps the Wind Dukes were able to bless us this day with your presence.
Wimdy Rue looks oddly shy and uncertain. Awkward windy cough.
She's going to... She kind of tilts her head at the cough. Questions need to be answered. How did they get here? As she turns over and looks at a couple other scouts. My patrols had just come back today. They shouldn't have followed us.
Elise would look to the rest of the party. Don't suppose there's any chance they've been following us the whole time.
How could they catch up? I mean, we've been in the house the entire time. I don't think they could keep up with us.
That is true.
Though we don't exactly leave a subtle path with Henrietta, to be fair.
The way I understand it, maybe there's a scouting party who saw us and decided to take their chances.
But of course, it had to happen during dinner, right?
Remind me, where did we see these gargoyles before?
In the tomb. We saw them in some gargoyles in the tomb.
I think they said specifically, Milla said they looked like they were from Omu because there was a lot of gargoyles around there, too.
Okay.
Yeah, specifically you had fought the four-armed gargoyles inside the tomb. And for above gate, for everybody else in the party, you did see statues that looked like them pushed all around the cliffs outside of Omu.
But yeah, I would say while this is all going on, Enoch's just going to, at least since he can't heal anybody, just cast Spare the Dying on anyone to stabilize them as they're trying to tend to the wounded.
And I will start healing people.
Alright.
Yeah, Rue will unwindy. She'll start. Don't I have mass cure wounds? Do I not? Oh dear, where is it?
I know, I just know normal cure wounds, and I can just go ahead and just, like, slap 5 HP onto any wounded bird.
Mm-hmm.
And I just
Except
stopped them
for
from
one
dying
lucky
immediately.
bird. One lucky bird in the triage raffle will get 7.
Oh.
Ooh.
I know, right?
Eventually, 2 Aarakocra fly up, and you see in their arms a third. Please. Please save my mate.
Of course. And I'll give this one the 7. I will go over and just rest my hand upon their shoulder, beak, wherever.
Mm-hmm. there, Coker on the arms eventually opens their eyes and looks up. By the 7. What happened? Clues, what happened? It's alright, Kalia. You're safe. And she just tightens her grip upon her mate or his mate, and after all, she says, I'll be fine. She eventually lifts herself out of his arms and begins to fly on her own. Those abominations.
Let's head back inside.
Just
Better
light activity for the rest of the day for you.
Yes.
Like, that was just like, we're going to be better in there than we are out here.
Agreed.
All right. Everybody begins to fly into the monastery, as well as the ones that were gravely wounded. Let's see, there was...
Elise is gonna hold off for a minute on following the rest of the party inside. Excuse me for a moment. Safety check.
Okay. Let's see.
And I'll just pop a first level, so last for a minute.
All right. 4 within 6 miles. Just gotta check something real quick. You don't detect anything with your primeval awareness.
Also, when asked if these things followed us, Enoch's just gonna pop up Eldritch Sight and check for a scrying sensor. At least around everyone in the party.
Yeah, aside from their various magical effects, you don't see anything else magical.
Well, good news, they're not scrying on us.
And at least for the moment, there is nothing in a 1 mile radius that I'm picking up.
Thought. Is there any chance that Fenthaza may have made a deal with these gargoyles? Is there any way I could piece that together, maybe?
Let's see. I'll allow you a choice of... You could give me an Arcana, a History, or a Religion check of your choice.
Arcana and Religion are the same. I'll take the Arcana, though. That's a 12. No, I'll let the 12 ride.
Might be possible. You're not sure.
I don't really think it's a deal. From everything I can tell, from, what I can do, I don't think they're, living. Or at least normally living. I think they're kind of like Vorn Jr. in that regard.
Possibly.
Yeah, but that makes it worse, because that means that if they were sent here, then we gotta figure out why.
If they are, in fact, working with the Yuan-Ti.
Gestures at the prince and princess. I mean, Fenthaza was smart enough to orchestrate a coup against Rosna-C. I'm pretty sure she could figure out the exact same thing we figured out.
That's true, but why after we got here? They could have done this at any time.
Well, that would imply they knew where they were. They might not have, and they just followed us on a whim.
With Eldritch Sight still up, can I check the kids for sensors?
Let's see. Just double check real quick. I'll say that. Coming from Waxrane, you do get a shimmer of abjuration magic coming from around her.
Well, that's the opposite of what I expected to see, but should ask, did you cast any spell on yourself, or are you using any kind of magic item?
You hear in your mind as you hear Moxrani. Yes, I did.
Ah, okay. Then
Keep it a secret, okay?
Okay. At this point, Enoch is now just going to start acknowledging that she's going to talk into his head, and he's just going to speak out loud to answer. Yeah, okay. That's fine. Okay, no divination on the kids.
Well, Dan's gonna pull out his crystal ball. Scrying works both ways. See what she's up to right now if we're interested.
Yeah, that seems like a smart idea.
Dan's gonna plop down on the ground here with his crystal ball in hand. And he's going to utter over and over again. Itam sic nebulae sunt defensionem. Itam sic nebulae sunt defensionem. Until eventually the mists clear as he casts Scrying on Fenthaza.
Okay. Could you click Scrying for me? Because I know it's been a while since I've had to deal with that.
Fair. I don't have any things from Fenthaza on me, so it's going to be pretty easy check.
Alright, so it's going to be.
We have met them, so that's a +5.
Mhm.
Actually, give me a second to check our inventory, or at least the group inventory. No.
Oh,
Though
what's the saving throw?
Here's something I could ask Milla. So, remember way back when we had our first rather disastrous foray into their lair?
Yes.
And I had to pick up the material component I would end up using for for summon construct.
Oh.
Well, we don't know what it was doing there, but we were able to find it. Enoch will hold it up as he just kind of pulls it off of his belt. There's a chance she might have touched this.
A shot, I could take that and see if it empowers this any.
So, Milla, that's up to you now. If she just figure out if she ever came in contact with this, at which point that might affect the DC.
And what is this?
It's again the material. It is a metal box with a gem inside that has the exact gold value that I need for summon construct. We found it inside the Yonti lair in the poisoner's room.
Oh, right. Unfortunately, that didn't belong to Fenthaza specifically. So, yeah, unfortunately, that's not gonna help.
Yeah, the only other things we have from there is all of the gold we stole, which would probably be Rosna's seas, which would just show. I want to imagine what's left of his body, which is probably rotting somewhere in that cave.
We just see a rotting Yuan-Ti corpse getting picked apart by snakes and flies and all sorts of other scavengers.
Yep. But as you attempt to scry on Fenthaza, the mists of your crystal ball do not seem to part or reveal anything.
She's either got a way to block scrying, or she managed to beat my eyes. Well, I don't have any more slots for it, but I can try on another day, too, to see if we get the same results.
Well, forewarned is forearmed.
Ashara kind of pipes up and says, "Well, I thank you for your efforts to protect us. This has been quite the adventure. Come, I'm sure our dinner is essentially done at this point. Would one of you like to please assist with washing the dishes? It is only customary."
Sure, I got Vorn Jr. for a while longer, and Enoch will just have Vorn Jr. trudge in and start washing dishes for everyone.
Yep, just you just hear the boards of the gangways just kind of groan underneath Ford Jr. as he makes his way up and makes his way into the kitchen.
He washes and dries because he's in his metal form, so he produces heat.
My household needs one.
I love him.
If you can find a way to mass produce that, you could make a killing off of that, Enoch.
Yeah, I can only do that while I'm keeping a certain amount of mental concentration on it, so I don't think mass producing is going to help. Also, I don't know how I do it, I just kind of get the ability to do spells into my head. Just another part of the existential dread of my life.
All right. So, as you all kind of begin to wind down, after a little bit, after the dishes are cleaned, you're invited into the monastery, into the main atrium, where a bunch of the monks have gathered at this point, and you see them grab various straw mats and roll them out onto the floor, and there's a few extra that they have left out, and they kind of motion for you and say, "Please, if you could join us in some meditation."
Have a seat. We need to actually talk about this.
All right, well, Enoch will sit down.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah.
Zeno would as well.
Yeah, no, that works.
Well, he sits down.
Gonna sit down. Yuki will
All right.
also sit.
All right. As you go to sit, for the next hour, in a rather long, outdrawn bit of awkward silence, the Aarakocra just sit there in meditation, just legs crossed, wings folded in, their arms at their side just clutched, holding the stance as they're staring forward blankly towards the maze that's drawn on the floor. Enoch,
Yes?
while this meditation is going on, I'll have to admit that was pretty amazing what you did back there. As you hear Moxrani's voice in your head again.
I may have to check something, but I think I know what she's doing, and I'm pretty sure I'm allowed communication back. Would she happen to be of a Warlock persuasion, Milla?
I'll allow an Arcana check from you.
Well, Enoch wouldn't know about this because he doesn't have that ability. I'm saying above game between us because I'm pretty sure... Because otherwise, Enoch can't respond to her. Because if it's one-way telepathy, he can't say... He'd have to speak back with his mouth, and this is not the time to say anything. But if it's the ability, I think so. I think he can actually talk back with his mind.
Also be a message spell if she's whispering.
It is not the message spell, so... And I think I established this last time that this is one-way communication on her part.
I think you did too.
Yeah, actually, now that you mention it.
Well, then Enoch will just Enoch will just blush, be awkward, and shrug, because what can he do here now? I am stuck in one-way flirting.
You'll be flirted with whether you like it or not.
I'm suffering.
And you hear chuckling in your head as she's.
Well,
I'm
there's your
enjoying this.
episode title, folks. One-way flirting.
Already, we got it.
When will Enoch not have a problem with voices in his head? Please tell me, Milla. Because this is now the third.
Well, I was gonna say between. Well, who was the other one between Papa Zottle and Mark's right?
My
Zottle,
patron, who has been
Ronnie,
silent since like the first
Stephen.
few sessions.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I haven't had a binary screech in the better part of a month in game, so...
I mean, honestly, that's much better, if you think about it. Who'd you rather have, the Screech or this girl?
Given Enoch's ability at interpersonal communications, it's a toss-up. Look at the group he's been socializing with for the better part of a month and realize that that's been his only constant human companionship for the better part of several years.
Fair.
Also explains his attitude. But yeah, Enoch will just be awkward, so whatever you want to move on with.
All right. So, aside from that little bit of banter, the meditation continues, and the monks rise up and they begin to roll their mats.
Rise 2.
And after the meditation, everybody, as the day wears on, they invite you for just to kind of flash forward through the day. Everybody, they invite you for another, basically for a better lack of a term, a service. Tyrant Bane and Ruru, you would recognize that you're basically escorted up to a room and you're brought forth to the same figure upstairs that you two had seen previously.
Yep, that's about right.
Which was a
All right.
feline-looking humanoid with a well-worn face.
If we're all seeing it, could I roll religion to identify it?
Sure.
May I also roll?
28.
All right. Yeah, go ahead, Elise.
Can I roll as well?
Nope.
Oh, no.
Elise just looks at it and goes, "That's a nice cat statue you have there."
Miller, can I roll
Funny-looking
as
cat.
well?
Sure, Zeno. Anybody who looks at it is welcome to.
24.
All right. Yeah. Dan and Zeno, you... Oddly enough, you recognize this based on... As you're kind of looking at it, the similarities kind of come out. This appears to be a Tabaxi depiction of Ooptao.
You know, worshippers of Ooptao.
Isn't everybody in Chult so far that we've met?
Yeah,
I
but
mean, Devil Gesture, a Tyrant Bane.
Oh, that's Uptow. Huh.
Oh, we just
Well,
know
that's
him as
really
the
something.
Guardian. Huh. As one of the Aarakocra. Specifically the, minister, for lack of a better term? We just know him as the Guardian. We had no idea that this was Ooptao.
It's
As the
a
Aarakocra
Tabaxi.
strokes his beak. Oh, go ahead, Dan. Sorry.
Yeah. Yep, it's a Tabaxi depiction of Ooptao. So whoever designed this was probably a Tabaxi themselves, or someone that looked positively on the Tabaxi. Probably one of many forms of Ooptao, if I had to imagine.
yeah, the gods do decide to do that all the time, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine just like just the backseat drawing him, and he's just like, all right, now 2 cat ears. Just there you go.
You beat me to the punch, Rabbit. Good job.
I want cat ears. But my lord, I want cat ears!
Meow.
Put the
Oh,
cat.
god damn it.
Listen, I am the god of this realm, and if I want cat ears, I will get cat ears.
If I want to be a little kitty cat princess, I'll be a little kitty cat princess.
I didn't realize Umtao was a VTuber.
Apparently. Tell the first VTuber.
Like, again, like above here. What are gods other than just VTubers that give themselves whatever form they want to?
That makes me viscerally upset.
Yes, me too.
I,
I want to strike that memory from my mind. Never say that again.
Miss Caitlin, kill him.
I mean, if you think about it, gods
I
and
don't want
avatars
to.
were a
No,
thing from
no.
the past. So
Moving on. So, aside from the service, Enoch would probably just try to find one of them and be like, hey, do you guys got any spare wood lying around? Because you got a lot of gaps in your pathways, and I feel like I could just fix that with, 10 minutes.
There, Coco just kind of stare at you, and after a moment, oh, you're serious.
Yeah, that's kind of...
Normally, it's not much of an issue here since we can fly for the most part, but
Gestures at legs. Yeah, well, as long as we're here, it's a tiny bit of an issue.
Dan sneezes.
Ah, yes, it's Dan can fly. If I were to talk with the teacher, perhaps, see if we have anything you may be able to use.
Well, truth
I
be told,
suppose as payment for helping us.
I mean, no, I'm just trying to fix up your place here. You don't really need to pay me. I mean, honestly, if one of you could just fly me down to the ground, I could probably just make some lumber myself, and then just over the course of a couple hours, we're building all your bridges.
Roll a persuasion check for me there, Enoch.
Okay. This will be hilarious.
Go for it.
18?
18. Enoch, as the Aarakocra ponder about it, I'll see if I'll get permission from the teacher. Perhaps in our free time, outside of our traditions, you may be able to do such a thing. Just a moment. And as they fly off at this point, Ashara has excused herself while she's making other preparations. After a moment, they'll fly back, and sure, I can return you to the floor tomorrow, and if you want to acquisition lumber for us, don't see the harm in it.
Alright, yeah, that'll be pretty easy. Enoch's just contemplating, okay, how am I going to lift one of these I'm going to probably cut the tree down there, and then have to find a way to levitate it up, then turn it into lumber, then wait an hour, then turn it into actual bridge, and Enoch's just muttering to himself about the logistics of having to fix this place for these weird people.
You do know 2 people with telekinesis. That is something that could probably help you out.
To be fair, I think each of you have only cast it once, and that was so many sessions ago, it's actively been probably over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Fair.
Elise holds up her axe beak hand axes. I can chop wood pretty well.
I mean, he points down to one of the massive trees in the jungle. Can you cut down one of those with that and then turn it into lumber?
Eventually.
Can you do it in 10 minutes? Because that's basically what I can do. I think my way's faster.
Puts away the hand axes.
Enoch's just going to go find a place out of the way of people, and he's going to be like, I have been socializing way too much. I'm starting to feel like Dan. This is bad.
Welcome to my world.
I can help you with anything that you would like.
Good to know, Tyronbane, though. I probably want to keep you here, like, as close to the royalty as possible. And considering that's basically your whole thing as a Sunblade, that's probably for the best.
Understandable. I'll look to the guy who was interested in Obtau for a second. If you'd be interested while I'm guarding, there is a legend about the 9 trickster gods that have been passed down to my tribe for generations.
Really? I would see if
Absolutely.
they have heard of such a thing. Oh. The 9
is our-
tricksters. I've heard of them.
This is our birthright, damn it.
I heard of them, but I haven't heard of their origin, more or less. As the minister just potters about it for a moment and kind of offers a seat next to him. Normally this is closer to our time for curfew, but we have some free time before we can, I assume. Come, tell me.
Of course. And I will regale him of a legend of the 9 gods. If you'd like, I can actually recite it. I have the entire thing written down over here.
Sure.
Oh, sweet. We doing this? Okay, hold on.
If you want to, I'll allow it.
The legend goes, as Obtau was originally worshipped by all of Omu, and Chult at large, but he seemingly abandoned his people, and the 9 trickster gods appeared as a result. Here's the legend that was passed down for generations. Long ago, the god Obtau hardened his heart and vowed to weep for the people of Omu no longer. The rain stopped, the jungle withered and died, and death itself swept through Omu. One morning, no wise Zorbo emerged from her hollow tree and spoke to the dying Omuans. To convince Obtau of their worth, she decided to cook him a stew made from all their good qualities. Catching such virtues wouldn't be easy, so she asked a wily Amaraj to help her. The Amaraj snuck recklessness into the pot, which she saw as a virtue, and Obtau spat out the stew when he tasted it. From that day on, Warlock of Zorbo and Ijin the Amaraj became terrible enemies. But one morning, at noon, that's how, a brave Commandant hopped down from her rock. She saw the evil in the Amuan's hearts, and decided to lance it like a troublesome boil. The Commandant fashioned a holy spear, but she left it by the riverbank, and a crafty Grung stole it. In her rage, Shagambi, the Commandant, forgot all about the Amuans and chased Neng Neng the Grunge forever across the sky. When evening came, a wily Eblis stepped from his reed hut. He didn't like the Amuans, but without them he'd have no one to play his tricks on. The Eblis sent a marsh frog to reason with Obtau, but the frog was angry and decided to wrestle the god instead. This amused Obtau, so he gave the frog tentacles to make it stronger. When Kubazan the Froghemoth returned to Papazotl the Eblis, he chased Papazotl into the swamp with his new tentacles. That night, a Sioux monster broke into Obtau's palace and stole a pail of water for the Amuans. When the god came running to find it, the Sioux monster hid the pail in a Jakuli's burrow. Obtau asked for jungle animals where his water was hidden, and Moa the Jakuli was too honest to lie. When Wongo, the Sioux monster, found out how Moa had betrayed him, he vowed to catch Fujikuli and eat him up. All the while, Unk the flail snail lived deep under the earth. The noise of the other animals fighting made her slither up to the surface, and when day dawned over her shell, the light blinded Ubtao and made his eyes water. Life returned to Omo, and the people built shrine to honor the animals who had saved them. And that is the legend of the Nine, as was told by my elders to their elders before them.
Ah, I see. To think that 9 creatures such as them were able to help the people when Ubtao was not. Although, one would wonder, what did happen to Ubtao?
Well, those are up for interpretation. Me personally, I think that Ubtao is a silent witness to everything that happens in the jungle. And even tragedy that happens in the jungle, even if it doesn't rouse his ire, it means that he looks toward the jungle's denizens to go ahead and solve those problems. He will come when he is truly needed. But I believe that Ubtao himself enjoys watching the heroism of other denizens of his jungle to help in times of need.
I see. Have you ever heard of the 7 Windows of Ark?
I'm not familiar with that one.
Yes, to tell of the Dukes is to tell of our natural home as well. To be truthfully honest, our kind originally are not from this realm. We hail from the elemental plane of air. And it is back
Interesting.
and it is back at the elemental plane of air, which was ruled by the 7 Wind Dukes of Akka. Or at least it was long ago.
I take an interested stance.
But it is the Wind Dukes who have given us the gift of flight and communion with nature, especially with the powers of air. Your friend, who I'm told became an air elemental, that is somewhat of a rare trait.
I must resist the urge to tell them that their bones are filled with sweet, sweet oxygen.
And that you have sucked the bone air.
I will never forget that for all of my days.
Yes, the most frustrating puzzle at that point, bone air. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Bone air.
Yeah, I'm sorry, just to look over chat. ISL robot, the tasty steel bone air.
Just like Grandma used to make.
Alright. So while that's going on, what are the rest of you going to be doing?
So, I'm going to send a message to Auntie Liza, because this just seems like a good time to send this message. Hi, Auntie Liza. Oh wait, I'll wait for you to get the clicker.
Got it. Hi, Auntie Liza.
Forgot to mention, I've adopted a child the hag's turned into a doll. He's better now. Can I teach him witchcraft?
Witches do love taking on the apprentices.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's 24, so I can end that off with his name, which is Clayton.
Oh, Danny, that sounds amazing. I never expected you to grow up so fast with a child of your own. I'll have to confer soon. And the message cuts off after that.
All right. Dan will blush at the growing up so soon. Another message?
And it's at this point, Dan, you actually get another message.
Oh.
Hello, Dan. It's been quite a few days. Just checking in with you. And as he pauses for a second, you immediately recognize this is Wakanga Otamu.
Right, and that's it for the message, or?
It's a pause as
Okay.
I'm trying to come up with other things for him to say.
Fair enough.
Syndra's internment is tomorrow. But I still have your reward upon return. And the message ends after that.
Okay. Hello, Wakanga. We will be heading that way soon, picking up some VIP. Well, can I use VIP as a word?
I thought you were saying this out loud, so I was still counting it on the timer.
Damn it!
Can I use VIP as a word? Click.
It's like someone's grandpa talking to him, just like, so how do I turn this thing up?
Well, no. It's basically you gave Grandpa text-to-speech.
It is, isn't it?
Above the table, I will allow you to use a VIP as one word.
Okay. So some VIPs will confer with others, then message again. How many is that?
Let's see, that was 20. I'll say that's 25.
Okay.
Because honestly, I lost count after I reset it, after you stumbled in. Can I use VIP as a word?
Yeah. All right. So I'll try to find everyone and let them know about Wakanga's message and what I said, and I'll take another slot once we figure out what we're gonna do from here.
Alright. Let's see. Rube, Zeno, Elise. What are you going to be doing?
Bird Boy that I sparred with yesterday said there was a thing that was supposed to go on at some point. He invited me to something?
Oh. Actually, as you were getting up from your meditations, let's see, I believe his name was Ikek. Yeah, he actually comes up to you and kind of gives a bow and, thank you for joining us in the meditation. That was very enlightening.
Of course. Were your activities still on for the day?
Another round of sparring, perhaps? Although not as rough this time, I must admit.
She smiles. I can try.
Alright. Go ahead and give me an athletics check.
Okay. Let's see. Where's my athletics? There you are. 17.
17. Yes. This time you go through some form exercises as well as some rapid hand movement sparring, basically between the two of them. And yeah, Kix is a lot more winded compared to what you are during the duration of that. And as he just kind of pants with his mouth open, just well fought.
You as well. You're rather new to this, aren't you?
Truth be told, I've only been training for about a year.
She nods. Well, you are coming along just fine, though.
I appreciate the compliment. Well done. And as he kind of begins to retire off. How about Zeto? What are you up to?
By the way, real quick before that, my lizard ever come back?
Oh yeah.
No, he's just chilling, just drinking a mojito somewhere.
Found a
That's
lounge
right.
chair just his size.
Oh yeah. He did come back. He kind of snuck in during the dinner that you all had because his job was to keep an eye on the royals.
Kind of go off to a quiet place where there's nobody really around. So, did you hear anything interesting?
The lizard thinks about it for a little bit, and then Druidic, he replies, The first house, or the first hovel above the monastery is where the prince and princess reside. Apparently it is just the two of them and one caretaker that usually lives with them, it seems.
That I did figure. Did they seem to be alright? The kids.
Let's see. Insight for a lizard. They seemed like they were in good spirits. The prince was studying deep in books, and the princess seemed like she was bored more than anything.
So nothing too terribly out of the ordinary. At least from what I can tell, anyway.
Not from what I saw either.
Well, that's good at least.
Although, apparently I did get a good chuckle, though. It seemed like she was talking about your one friend for a little bit.
She arches a brow. Which one?
Tell the dirt, girls. Tell the
Gossip
dirt.
detected.
Apparently she was talking about the one called Enoch?
There's a twitch of a smirk. I see. Good to know.
I can't believe Rue and her lizard are gossiping.
It seems like the princess is taking a liking to him, it would seem.
Oh, that's so good to know.
Good shit, lizard. Good shit.
Now, you didn't hear it from me, but
Well, I trust that's all then.
No, it did seem reserved at that fact, but he was more interested in reading the books and just kind of waved it off, it seemed.
Don't suppose you gotta look at what he was reading.
kind of well, it was a stack of books. A lot of books, actually. Seems rather studious.
She nods. Yeah, I suppose that seems likely. All right. That's about all we really knew already, anyway.
So it would seem.
She just gives him a gentle stroke on the head. Well done.
Oh, that feels good. Thanks.
Of course.
Now, Brother, where are you at? As he just kind of looks around, and Blicky just kind of makes his way up at this point. Oh, there you are. Yep, just the eyeball lick, but the other eyeball lick.
I love that one is just intellectual and the other one's just completely gormless.
Yep.
I mean, what do you expect when you have normal garden variety lizard and sentient lizard?
I just Licky just like blinks each eye individually, just with that eye squish.
Yep.
We
Pretty
talked
much.
about it earlier, but it's a total Garfield Odie situation.
Yeah.
Also, the implication that these lizards are several hundred years old, and Licky was found like 30 miles away from Omu. The story behind them is going to be deep lore.
You think they're hundreds of years old, but
Well, one knew Rue's dad, and he would be older than Rue, and Rue was in old Omu.
It's fine.
timeline wibbly wobbly stuff.
Weird.
So, how about Zeno? What are you up to then?
But during that entire time of meditation, Zeno, like anyone who looked at him would have noticed that he was deep, like towards the end of it, he started actually like tearing up. Because he was thinking of his friends back home and like everything that he was going through, right? Or everything that he would have to go through to get back over there. So if anyone wants to play that, go ahead. Like,
Let's see. What will the Aarakocra monks notice? Yeah, one of them would. One of the monks will kind of approach you. Is everything all right? You seemed rather emotional after that. Was there something strong you
sorry.
decided with?
Sorry, just thinking about back home.
Ah. Your home, I see.
I'm not from Omu. I'm not from Chult. I'm actually from the other side of the continent.
Ah. I see.
I was brought here due to a spell that gave me like a surge of wild magic, and followed these four because I had nowhere else to go, nothing else to do.
I suppose as us as a race are not that different. We originally hail from another plane of existence entirely.
I'm relatively aware of your existence. Good friend of mine is actually a Kenku.
Huh. Kenku.
If you've personally never seen them, basically think a cock robot without wings.
Huh. I see. That sounds rather sad. It's like a bird with its wings clipped, not being able to fly. Must be terrible.
Knowing him, he makes up for it with his speed. He can run faster than anybody I know.
I see.
I was
Huh.
hoping that as soon as this was over, I could go back. But I don't know how long it's gonna take.
Well, that's one thing that could be found out given enough time. Time is a fickle thing. We must spend it wisely. Whether it's in our pursuits, our goals, our dreams, if we have any. Although, one must learn to curb these ambitions lest they control and make us lose our focus. They must be tempered like a blade in the forge.
Unfortunately, I know that all too well. I honestly don't deserve the group I now call my friends, because I've had those thoughts of just running away and leaving this behind many times during this journey. Just didn't want to hurt them.
Hurt them? Why would you hurt
My magic,
them?
it hasn't happened for a while. Just every now and then, like it will cause effects to happen. I'm honestly surprised I've been able to keep it in check this long. Like, there have been several times where I thought it was gonna actually go off, but it'll just like it'll cause things to happen that'll hurt people. Or we already lost one of our friends because of it. And sometimes I just that just keeps that just sticks in my mind. Like, he's saying this out loud, so I'm wondering like if Kawasha hears this.
Let's see, where is Kawasha while all this is going on? Call high or low?
Hi.
Roll the 20 on the die, so yeah, high wins. As at this point, Kawasha just... You see him as he picks himself up, he just kind of nods and acknowledges you as you make that. I want you to roll an insight check on him.
16.
For a split second, you swear that you notice a painful look in his eyes, but aside from that, it turns into a sign of relief as he seems like he regains himself, nods at you, and then continues on. Also of acceptance.
Okay, that's interesting. Like, I'm saying that out or like above game. Like, just I hope I can see my friends again. I hope I can see my family again. Just the one thing that I want to do above all else, as soon as I get back, is I want to actually start teaching what I know, what I learned. I want to help those who have unfortunately fell to this exact, I guess, curse, for lack of a better word, that I'm in.
I see. Huh. Well. Huh. perhaps if we were to talk to the teacher, she could... I know she is wise beyond her years. Perhaps she may be able to help with some advice.
Keep that in mind.
Best of luck to you. As he
Thank you.
finishes rolling up his mat, and begins to make his way upstairs. And if you're alright with that...
I was gonna say, like, that's a good place to stop it for me.
Yeah. Speaking of which, that also seems like a good place to take a break real quick, because I know we've been going for a little bit.
Okie dokie.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry about getting deep or for you guys or for you guys in chat. Like, Zeno has been feeling this way for a while, though.
I mean, it's alright. If everyone else is alright with it, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, nah, I'm perfectly fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, but...
I'm gonna go grab the food that's been sitting at my door for a while. And also refill my water.
Vaughn, I saw what you said, and hey!
At best, he would consider you a coworker. Learn the deal.
Damn.
That's true. Like,
Oh, this is going to be interesting going forward, especially now that apparently Enoch has not even had time to be like, okay, who in my party can I actually talk to about what I suspect is going on? Oh, looks at entire party. I hope Kawash is free. Or Shago. Shago seems like a worldly guy. He understands girls.
Teach me.
you
teach
say
me
that,
way.
but Zeno actually has a girlfriend.
Yes, and you introduced yourself by, I think my girlfriend cursed me. You are not a good barometer. Ironically, another good person to ask would be Orvex, considering Enoch helped him get laid. Which was mostly out of, okay, this I find him being awkward around this giant muscular cow woman interesting. I will see what happens. But I hope you all are enjoying this chat. Ugh. Also, as I was updating on other streams, last time I misspoke. Our last stream for C4, our D&D miniseries, as I switch over to our break sign, will be coming up on the 24th of March, so keep your eyes closed for that. Ugh, I have no idea how we are going to end that series. It is the most beautiful kind of clusterfuck.
I returned. What's
Welcome back.
Now?
What was that?
And what was the clusterfuck I heard about? C4?
Yes.
Ah.
Listen, when Xanathar is the least of your worries in a Waterdeep game, that says something.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's our safest route. At which point, if we tell him what he needs to know and leave him to his own devices, we could have a kaiju battle in the city. Or we could cut out the middleman and try to fight kaiju by ourselves. And that's not talking about the possible political intrigue that's also going on that we had nothing to do with until 2 sessions ago.
Oh, right. Interesting.
Yep.
I return with more pizza.
It's pizza time.
Happy Pi Day, everybody. And for those who live outside of the U.S., that makes no sense.
Pi Day, you get you some.
3.1415926. That's about as far as I remember the number pi.
Also, apologies for the lack of communication earlier. I was attempting to multitask and it was failing miserably.
Oh, okay.
I have returned.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Oh. But yeah, how's everybody enjoying it so far, chat?
I think we're all having a pretty good day.
I just like El Robot. I imagine Enoch going, "Friends" is a strong word, and it cuts his Zeto in an interview, and I took that personally.
At which point, off screen of the interview, you would just hear Enoch going, "Good."
Like, above game, like I think it's clear that these two do not really like each other, but we just accept each other.
You said you're co-workers. You can tolerate each other for a set amount of time.
Like we've all had those coworkers that's like, yeah, I don't like you, but I have to work with you, so I have to be nice.
I have built my work career on one simple word, and that is indifference.
Ah, yes. The best kind of difference. Indifference.
God damn those neutrals.
I don't feel strongly one way or the other. Hard cut back to Unk.
Oh, good old hunk.
I could deal with good and evil, but those neutrals, you never know what they're talking about. It's one of my favorite lines from Futurama.
What turns a man to neutrality?
What makes a man neutral?
Lowe's makes me neutral.
But why?
But yeah, it looks like we got everybody back. Are we good?
Believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sweet.
Okie dokie.
All right. And let's cut to... Let's see. I think the only one we haven't really touched base on was Enoch.
The one everyone's like, ooh, let's hear what he has to have, or what's happening to him.
Well, Enoch will be staring at the stuff that he needs to fix, and also realizing, man, having the ability to only fly for a minute is not as useful as I thought it would be, but work with the cards you're dealt, as he thinks to himself of how he would get back down, because he's also very much wondering how Joho's doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's fair.
Yeah, because thinking about it, I left Joho with Dave and 4 strangers that we only met who were most likely grave robbers.
I was gonna say, hey, grave robbers is a strong word.
I'm sure Dave's got this.
Well, grave robbers, tomb raiders, you know, there's stages to it. I'm not sure if it's a union gig, but we don't necessarily know their level of repute, and I left my adopted son there. So yes, Enoch is in reasonable anxiousness. But yes, Enoch will be keeping himself busy until at least a point where Ashira comes back, at which point he's probably just going to take her aside and be like, hey, so you just got attacked by a whole bunch of gargoyles, and I'm pretty sure they're here to assassinate the royals. At this point, they are 100% more safe with us than they are with you.
All right. Actually, as the previous... We'll say this is kind of lumped in at the same time as when you got permission. We'll say that Ashara herself has come over. And yeah, she'll kind of walk up, and as you kind of pull her aside and get to talking to her. Perhaps this matter would be best talked in private.
I mean, just leave me wherever you want to talk to me.
We could use one of the rooms in the monastery.
Okay, so I guess
And she'll lead you up to the upper balconies, and she'll just look around where nobody else is paying attention to, and there's another side room. She'll lead you through a couple doors and lead you there. the fact is rather concerning that the gargoyles, who are apparently from Omu, have been followed here. To be perfectly frank, I'm not exactly sure if there was a result of them following their scouts or you. The fact that it could have been either or is rather concerning.
I mean, that's true, but in the same, like, tone of frankness, those Yuan-Ti are gearing up to take over as much of this continent as possible, and you're on the way to the civilization they will most likely conquer if they are going to do what I believe they do to get more Yuan-Ti, which I think is throwing humans in a big bloody vat. We saw it happen. It was very weird, but my point is that they're somehow already amassing numbers, and if they start moving in force, they'll probably take you out just as a matter of cause. And that leads to the same problem. If they're following us, then we can lead them and also try to at least keep the prince and princess safe.
Our entire life's way, Kir Sabal's main reason of existence has always been to protect the royal lineage. And all I asked in return was some recognition for the fact that we have done everything we can to keep them safe. But everything has just been going so wrong with this.
Enoch just puts a tired hand on her shoulder. Don't worry, I feel your exact same existential dread. Give me a second. He pulls out a piece of paper and he just adds recognition for protecting royalty, and he just adds to-do list at the top. I'm gonna have to start itemizing this, but don't worry, we got a whole list of things, and if you want to feel better, there's a whole nother like tribe and clan of people that have also been dedicated to the royals' preservation that's going to be working with us.
As much as I like to think, I know you're capable in your efforts when you've helped us defend against the gargoyles. I know you've done a lot in routing out the evils, the initial evil that has been present within Omu, from what my scouts have been reporting.
Yep, we survived 2 liches and killed 1. I say we're pretty good on, handling things at this point, despite our dysfunctions, and they are many.
I see. All I ask, if you are to protect her, I need you to do one solid favor for me.
And that would be?
I must respectfully ask that you refute any advances, because I've seen Harani has been eyeing you ever since you've joined us. And you just see as she straightens up and rather menacingly crosses her arms at you.
So Enoch's cheek and ear go red, at least the ones that are visible. Ma'am, Oh, okay, yeah, we are at cards on the table here. Ma'am, I have not even seen another teenager in over a year, much less interacted with one. I think she, let's just say that this is basically already, probably not gonna happen.
You just kind of see her as she begins to relax a little bit.
If I am being frank, I have already accepted the responsibility of becoming a father at my age. I have a lot on my plate, and that is including rebuilding, the princess's claim to her throne in a city she no longer has a claim to. I have things to do.
I'm so tired.
Make a charisma check for me when you say that, Enoch.
Okay, this will be hilarious.
Maserati in the corner. Sounds like a challenge.
2 7s look, that makes it funnier.
Like I said, Enoch has an incredibly high charisma, but he has no proficiency in any charismatic skills except intimidation, and that comes from people looking at him.
Mm-hmm. Also, try your best not to fill her head with any sort of foolishness.
Does inane prattling count? Because that's pretty common in our group.
She kind of ridges up at that a little bit. There must also be one other thing that I ask.
Enoch just has the to-do list out, and he just puts like the other thing is that he just puts down relationships awkward under the first thing, and then I was just like putting another line. Okay, what do you want?
If you are to escort her, see their efforts, I ask that I send one of my stewards in order to act as a representative for us and to also help keep an eye on the royals in your care.
Enoch just sighs. Oh, we're gonna need a bigger house. Okay, yeah, sure.
Very well. As you see Ashara kind of relax up a little bit, she kind of gives a cordial bow, and you see her as she begins to make her way out and fly out. And she begins to kind of fly out and drop down into the monastery. Roll a perception check for me, Enoch.
Oh boy. That's that one.
You have inspiration. It's y'all think you've used it yet.
Yes, I like to save my inspiration for when things are dangerous.
I think this kind of counts there.
Nah, Enoch is fine.
Fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, as you're kind of looking at the balcony, just kind of looking down over, you feel a touch on your right shoulder.
Enoch freezes. Huh?
What do you do?
Turn towards my right shoulder, because I'm going to be honest here. We're level 12. I think I could survive at least something trying to stab me.
You look to your right. You don't see anything there. And you hear a voice in your head. Got you. And as you think about it, you look to your left and you see Waxrati just standing there, arms behind her back.
For a second, Enoch has the most tight-lipped, like, you know, the concerned face, only without the hands in front of it. Just, Enoch's just like, Your Majesty, yeah, so seems like you'll be traveling with us, so you might want to go talk with your brother and prepare some bags. I need to go talk to our guy about travel. I'll be going away.
She kind of reaches out, just wait. Now you will wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I must commend you for your services to protect myself, my brother, and the other Aarakocra here. And at this point, she's kind of talking out loud.
Well, it has seemed to become my job over the last 3 months. My life has taken many turns.
You know what this relationship reminds me of? Just in general.
Was that?
Hold on, I had to see this.
For those just posted the gif of the of Wart and the squirrel from Swords of Stone.
Please share that with the chat.
That is insanely accurate to what's
I
happening.
can
right
share
now.
it with the chat, but Milla, I think since you're the DM, you have the ability that if you want, you can copy the link and just put it in the actual dice chat, and it will pop up.
Okay, sure. There you are.
So
Oh,
you
no,
know-
I don't know why it doesn't want to do this in this game. I'm pretty much able to do that whenever I want in our Strixhaven game, but yeah, I'll put it in the Twitch chat at least.
Why
Yeah.
don't you open the gift in a new tab and just.
I don't have control over the size of those. Discord does random sizes whenever you open in those tabs, and thus makes things awkward. Also, it's a Disney movie. I don't want these things struck on YouTube.
That is
That's
true.
fair.
There. But yeah, as yep, there's the image for you guys. As anyway, to get back on track here, as you don't need to be so cordial with me. You can call me Ronnie.
Ah, well,
Mm.
that's good to know. You can call me Enoch. I only got the one name.
So that is the name of my hero.
I want to imagine that while this is happening, the rest of us are just outside. I wonder what they're talking about.
Yeah, just the one name. I'm sure we'll have a lot more time to talk, but seriously, we have actually accumulated a whole lot of people in the way we're going to be traveling, so I actually really have to talk to our resident magic man about how we're going to accommodate, 17 people at once.
She kind of walks up and, well, as she kind of just leads up a little bit. It's alright, I understand. As she leans in, and she gives you just a light peck under the metallic part of your cheek.
I have posted the accurate response.
No, the accurate response is this.
And upon the peck of the cheek,
Thanks. What were you considering?
Ronnie will kind of. I will lead you to be friends. I do hope to talk to you later. And she'll give you a little gingerly wave as she leaves the balcony and heads back up outside the upper part of the monastery.
Enoch just stays there, rather frozen for a good while.
Enoch.exe has stopped working.
Oh no, Ronnie was secretly a Medusa.
Oh my god.
Lord knows.
It will take Enoch a while before he's finally like, oh, why is my life never easy? Okay, all right. Dan! You'll just hear her yell out.
Just really bold, dude. Just like, okay, give me a second. Dan!
And Enoch will just go down to Dan. Okay, quick question. Important question. Very important question. Are you able to make multiple Henriettas?
I can only do one at a time.
And they can only be that big, can't they?
Yep.
Okay, no. I got an idea. It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be. Oh, we're gonna need to make so much lumber when we get down there. In fact, Dan, I'm gonna need you to take me down to Henrietta, this instant.
All right. I actually do need to get everyone together. We've got a message from Wakanga about the goings on over there, but I guess we'll do this first.
Yes, this is very important. Okay, and once he flies me down, Enoch's gonna be like, "Okay, Dan, I am gonna have to start building a cart the size of Henrietta to accommodate all the people we currently have, because we're about to get 3 more people added to this convoy, and we're already barely able to keep up with the people we have."
Yeah. anything I can... I mean, I'm not really strong, but is there anything I could do to help? I have... Dan will wiggle his fingers, although I'm kind of low on slots at the moment.
Actually, considering how long it's been, how long has it been since that fight? Have we technically had a long rest at all?
I doubt it. I think it's only been like an hour.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
we
only
had
been
the
like a
We had
couple
the
hours.
meditation and all that. Okay,
At least you would have had a short rest with the meditation.
fair enough.
No, Dan, I have to log. And he'll just gesture to all of the trees in the area around Henrietta. I've got to log as many of these things as I can and get them into a pile, so that way when I use my magic that makes things, it'll consider them all one thing, and then I can make them into another thing. I don't understand why it works that way, but it does.
Fair enough.
Though, if you want to try to get Tyrant Bane or Rue down here to try to help me cut down these trees, that might help, but that's about it.
Alright, I'll gather them, and maybe we'll have a bit of a meeting as well. But I'll leave you to it while I go grab Rue and Tyrant Bane and help you out.
Yeah, while that's happening, Enoch will just transform his arm into a sword and just start using Booming Blade to just start trying to fell trees as quickly as possible.
Alright. At this point, yeah, you do manage to... Let's see. Did you want to have the meeting now, or did you want to just go down and take care of the trees now, Enoch, if I'm just trying to get the timeline all
Well, I thought
situated?
that I already had Dan fly me down, because Enoch's just like, I can be caught up on the meeting. I need to do this because we only have so much time, and it takes me an hour to recharge my spells and 10 minutes to cast Fabricate.
Okay. Understandable.
So I will drop off Enoch, I will fly back up, try to find Rue and Tyrant Bane, get them caught up on the situation going downstairs, and also the Wakanga situation. Maybe see if I can get the others together too, but it's going to be a lot of trips up and down if I'm getting everyone down there.
We can expedite it, saying that you also thought like Zeno was there and he cast the fly on Elise to get her down there too.
All right.
So I'm gonna roll for that, by the way, just because I have to.
Yeah, for the sake of
There
brevity.
you go. I'm gonna cast a spell like twice so we can get I think. Yeah, two
Like-
levels. I think 2 levels 5s will get everyone down.
You forget
Alright,
we also
sorry.
have 3 NPCs up there.
That's what I mean. Like two level 5 spells will get everyone down because that'll give me enough slots. So
Dylan, I'm sorry. My ADHD brain was like, oh, he rolls in that one. All of a sudden, gust of wind. We all get blown down there.
See, I didn't say anything, but I had a very similar thought.
There we go.
I knew, like, man, it would really suck if he got a nat 1 now in the middle of the freaking monastery and exploded it.
Don't you mean it would blow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meh.
Also, when Enoch said, I need to log, my first thought was, hello!
Or...
Before I get here.
And I subsequently posted log in the chat.
Yeah. Alright, so... For the sake of brevity, you guys kind of have the meetings, and... You manage to cast all of your flying, and you go to make your way down. I'll say roll survival checks from everybody who's wanting to cut down and gather wood.
Will you give me advantage because this is technically forest and my native terrain?
Sure.
Or favorite terrain?
Mm-hmm.
11.
Got an herbalism kit. I don't think that's chopping down no trees.
23.
You know what? He'll help. Let's go. He'll try to help.
Alright.
This makes sense. Like, Zeno is many things. A strong man is not one of them.
Why Dan isn't helping with the trees. He knows he can't help with the trees.
Alright, over the course of... Yeah, it's been about 2 hours. you managed to get, we'll say 3 or 4 smaller trees and 1 decently sized tree. So let's see, how much was that gonna be for materials? Oh god, I have to come up with figures.
Here we go.
How much material for small and medium trees?
Don't you know it's typically 4 to 6 blocks?
You just turned this into Minecraft all of a sudden?
I mean, I attempted to.
All
but
of a
let's-
sudden.
I mean, Enoch was basically just breaking these things with his fist.
Yeah.
Though Enoch is his own crafting table.
True. All condensed into one person. Thankfully, there's no creepers that we're aware of.
Yet.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah. Hate that, don't you?
You say that, but I also basically made a spell that turns a person into an Enderman for my other game.
Huh.
Yes, you hit them, and then you roll a d8 to decide where they land within 30 feet.
Huh. Meanwhile, I made an illusory bomb in another timeline as another Dan. Imagine, if you will, if you took Major Image and Fireball and mashed them together, and that's the spell.
That'd be fun.
Let's see.
And my thought behind that, because it was Curse of Strahd, and Dan was an NPC, his entire party got wiped out, and he's like, I want to destroy Strahd, but not just physically, emotionally. And he came up with this illusory bomb to make it look like Tatiana and have it explode on him. Because he was done. He was so very done.
Also, by the way, Miller,
Yes.
while we're foraging and doing whatnot together, may I make a perception check just to, like, hear or listen or scout the area to see if I can, you know, detect anything like we're being watched?
Sure, actually. That's actually a good point while you guys are doing that. Let's see. Let's see. That. Yeah, roll a perception check for me.
25. What do my alpha eyes see?
Your elven ears first hear, you know, the typical cacophony of songbirds. Being a clear day, it's a lot easier to see. You don't see anything around here for, you know, any sort of, you know, hostile entities. Just you and your merry band just being lumberjacks down here.
Noted.
And for the sake of brevity, I'll go ahead and say that you have enough board feet out of everything you cut up to make an equivalent size card for any head of the pole.
Okay, so you'll see Enoch just immediately send out a giant swarm of nanites, and it just consumes all of the trees. And all of a sudden, you now have a roofed cart that will be about roughly the size of Henrietta. Okay, now we just need to find some leather to tie it onto her, but that can wait till after I get my spells back. Enoch says he just sits there.
Why leather? Why can't we just use rope?
Because leather is typically stronger, and also, I don't want to waste the rope.
Yeah, the rope would probably wear and tear just via travel.
And how much it rains here.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So, what should I send back to Wakanga?
Tell him that we have another source of allies and the only legitimate claim to the Omuan throne.
Alright. Do we have approximate ETA, do you think? How long do we think it's going to take us?
Would look at Kawasha because he's the one who typically knows about the map.
Hmm.
He's going to peruse the map. I left her here, Kir Sabal. What do you think, Shago? Yes, perhaps. If I were Kir Sabal, cut through Ataz Muhaha, perhaps? And as they kind of ponder this a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and bring you guys up to the player map.
Right?
Load picks or hexagons. Load.
There we are.
Probably the safest way would be follow the river up to Ataz Muhaha. And then perhaps from there, perhaps cut me through around where Mesro is. Cut through towards River Teriyiki, and then follow that back to Nyanzaru. Yeah, that would be the best way, probably.
And roughly how many days travel would that be? Because now we've got to provide rations for a lot of people, and he gestures at just the fact that we have, let's see here, 6 of us, 3 new hangers-on, 3 children, so that's already 12.
Well,
Then we have our 3 NPCs that are with us, so that's 15. And we've got another 3. So we're going to have a total of 18 people.
Well, normally, assuming the conditions are on there, usually it would be about, probably about 5 days travel, 6 days travel, give or take, but considering Henrietta going through the jungle, probably cut that down to 4 or 3.
Alright, tell him that we'll err on the side of caution. Roughly 4-5 days travel, because we always get sidetracked with something. And
fair.
also make sure he knows that while we again have the only legitimate heirs to Omu, he should not tell anyone he doesn't trust this, specifically among the trade princes.
Yeah, keep them out of the loop as much as possible.
All right. Will do. And then we'll stretch and begin casting Sending.
Alright. Click, 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 click. Go ahead.
Hey, Wakanga. It should take 4 to 5 days. We have the legitimate heir to Omu. Tell no one you don't trust. Still got, like, I think 4 more words.
See you soon.
You know, I was thinking see you soon.
Hugs and kisses.
See you soon. And that'll be where he ends.
Alright. Alright. Oh, I see. Sidra service will be tomorrow. I'll await your return and your rewards. Come to my palace. We'll discuss everything there. Okay?
And
And
then we'll
the
relay
message.
that. Yeah, we'll relay that to everyone currently present.
Alright, I'm going to see about fashioning, like, the closest thing I can call a furniture for this cart out of the plant fibers around us, so I'll stick around down here. Also, once we actually start moving, we're probably going to need to have at least 2 of us in this cart at all times with what I'm going to assume is going to be the prince, the princess, their caretaker, and I'm probably going to want to move the kids over here to try to keep them safe.
I think that's best. I'll trust you.
That was gonna do a sly smile. I mean, you could always be with them.
There is going to be the stone grinding head turn to Zeno. I have
All the way to it.
I have had an incredibly long day, my friend, and I still could turn you to dust with one of my remaining spells. Do not test me today.
I didn't know what you're talking about. I just saw the way she was looking during dinner and thought you assumed. Zeno has the biggest shit-eating grin right now.
Enoch is pinching the bridge of his nose and imagining how simple it would be to turn you to dust with inflict wounds, and then he is going to turn and go start gathering plant fibers.
For a split second, he contemplated the heel turn.
Yeah, whatever everyone else wants to do, that's what Enoch's doing right now.
All right. Let's see. I'll give another survival check to find some decent plant fibers.
Okie dokie.
Help with finding stuff. Give you advantage.
Sure.
That's a 21.
All right. And just to refresh my memory, for the plant fibers, you said you were finding them for.
He's
just
basically just going to be making a
furniture,
bunch of cushions and everything else. Leather, we have enough leather, like between a bunch of the random stuff we got in Omu and from the tomb, that it could probably be fashioned easily. Right now, he's basically just going to get as much like comfortable looking plant fibers, and he's basically just going to be turning them into a bunch of cushions for the inside of the carriage.
You're making
Alright.
furniture out of hemp rope. I hope you know that.
I probably should have asked, but if you want Elise's help, there's a 22 in survival.
Yeah. And yeah, let's see. Yeah, between Enoch and Elise, I'll say there's, lots of plants, fibers, leaves, vines. Yeah, you can basically take all those raw materials, and with those 2 survival checks, you do manage to make a surrey of sorts.
Yeah.
For like a little, like fringes for like a drape and
Yeah.
some
so
cushions and benches.
Yeah, basically now this thing looks less like just a raw hand cart, and now it looks like it's got some, some curtains and some cushions on the inside, so now it won't just be pure wood. All right, the lap of luxury. And, well, it doesn't have a tongue.
I'm not sure what you're insinuating. From this great feature.
I'm insinuating that as much as I like Henrietta, she is incredibly unsettling, Dan.
Dan's gonna look at Henrietta. Back to Enoch. I don't see it.
Enoch's
I couldn't
just,
possibly know what you're talking about.
Enoch's just going to sigh and pat Henrietta's flank and just be like, yep, this is my life. I'm going to go say hi to my son. And then he's just going to step into Henrietta and let the rest of you handle the day.
Henrietta unravels her tongue as you
Well,
begin to make your way inside.
Yep.
Oh, there you are, Enoch. As you come in, and the kids are currently playing with Dave at this point.
Yep. Enoch will just kind of be like, so hey guys, you're about to have some new friends and a nice new place where you can hang out, where you have a little bit more space to have fun. And Enoch will lead them towards the window and point out to the unattached cart.
Oh, let me see, as Joho just kind of makes his way up.
Yep, he gets the uppies.
Oh.
Joho
Whee!
always has uppy priority with Enoch. The other kids have to wait.
That is your son. He does get uppies.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, what is it?
It's a cart. We're going to hook it up to Henrietta so that way it can pull it behind us, because this is a really nice house, but does not have the space for everyone we're going to be taking on this journey. As he motions to the already pretty full house between them, Dave, who I forgot to factor into the amount of people who are in this group, so we actually have 19 people about to be here with us.
Oh.
And
I don't like 19. Can we do 20? We need one more person.
No, because I already imagine that at least one 5-foot square is going to be dedicated just to Talad and his sulking corner.
I just want to be in the corner. Just let me mope. I'm sorry. I'll be better later.
I'll be better later.
So our ever-growing menagerie continues, I see. As you see Talad kind of eyeing up towards you, Enoch.
Yep.
Refuses to elaborate further.
The amount of sass
That's
Enoch
right.
was going to take from Talad drastically went down after they left the tomb, okay? Again, you are always free to try to trek the jungle on your own, Talad.
I'm going to take my chances in here when I have you luck to protect me. Now when it comes to our other companions, as he kind of points out, and the three that you had rescued were also helping you guys in your endeavors to help fashion everything up as well as actually, they're probably out hunting. Yeah, one of the sisters comes back and has a axe beak in her hands. Well, I found this. At least that'll be for dinner.
Enoch will just mutter to Talad so that way she can't hear. They have provided food and they cook. That is so far more than you have done in the long time that I have known you.
He leans up. Hold on a sec. Let me just set the mood with this. He picks himself up. He just kind of leans forward. If it were not for my insights and my assistance in the tomb, I'm not sure how well you would have fared.
True, and if not for us, you would be haunting a mirror. We can do this back and forth all day, or you can just enjoy our companionship as we continue through the jungle.
As you wish, as he goes back and begins reading through a couple of pages of the spell book. I suppose I may be able to help something with tomorrow, maybe.
That's when Enoch will realize that he has a spell book, because that was never actually on his character sheet. Here, a sign of good faith. And Enoch will reach into escrow. If you got the tools for it, you can copy this. And he will hand him the scroll of Tensor's floating disc that we have never used.
Oh my god, we did have that.
Yes, it was completely useless inside the tomb.
Thank you.
Just get it back to me when you're done, and Enoch will then go back to handling the kids and showing them the cart.
What's the weird drapey thing that's on there?
Well, they're actually called drapes. They're for keeping the weather out. And I'm basically saying, Miller, you can cut over to anyone else.
All right.
Anyone.
As you're kind of pointing it out. Let's see. At this point, the hunters, as it were, have been out there just kind of getting everything done. One of them is setting up a campfire, actually, as the one sister is, beginning to clean this axe beak that they found. Well, at least we can have a decent dinner tonight. So, how was everything up there? Did you manage to find that royal you were looking for?
Who is she asking? Is this
Yeah.
just an in general thing?
Yeah, to whom? Is it to
Let's
anybody?
see.
Is it
To
an
the
open
room
question?
or
Actually, she's looking towards you, Zeno, as she asked that.
I'm sorry, you broke up for a second. What did she say?
So, did you find the royal that you were looking for?
The royal? You mean the teacher, or?
Was there
Ru
a prince or a princess that was up there?
leans over to her side just and whispers, "The kids."
Oh, right.
The kids.
the new
Yeah,
kids?
Yes, we did.
Oh,
Just he's thinking, Rue just leans over and just swats him.
I've had a bit of a day. I'm sorry.
we did see. What was? Speaking of other days, we did see a bunch of those weird things. They looked like they were headed up your way. Not exactly anything we could do about it down here, but hopefully they didn't give you too much trouble.
Oh, the gargoyles? Yeah, no, they were fun.
Oh, those things. I've heard people talking about them, but you would think that a being made of stone shouldn't be able to fly. But yeah, there they do. Seems like they're a mockery of the Aarakocra, now that I think about it.
Purely magic that keeps them afloat. Then just staring up at the sky, pondering. I mean, it has to be, otherwise that wouldn't work. I don't know. It has to be magic. Physics wouldn't allow it.
I know. It's like they have no feathers. They weigh as much as stone. What exactly lets them fly like that? You're right, it doesn't make sense.
Sorts of spells that can lift people up. There's fly, of course. Pretty obvious one. Perhaps they're enchanted to have that, and that's why it works?
You know, in my passings, I heard that gargoyles are natural enemies of Aarakocra.
Interesting.
So I guess that makes sense why they would want to attack them on sight.
Would I know about... I mean, I know that the Aarakocra have mentioned the airplane, but I don't think they've mentioned it directly to Dan. Would I have that knowledge? Lunar system knowledge.
Choice of, history, religion, arcana.
19.
19 in arcana. Yeah, not that you mentioned it. As far as the matter of planes and their interactions, yeah, now that you mentioned it, you have heard some inklings about how specifically the elemental planes interact with each other, and basically from that, you have the Aarakocra who hail from the elemental plane of air, and by some weird happenstance between the elemental planes of air and earth, you haven't heard of anything about gargoyles, but that seems like a gap in your mind as where gargoyles hailing from comes into the picture.
Sure where gargoyles specifically come from. I know there's Aarakocra would come from the elemental plane of air, which is like transverse to the plane of earth. Maybe it's something to do with that? I'm not sure.
They do have some similarities to our faith, though. For example, the guardian that they worship is Ubtao. We discovered as much while we were going ahead and swapping stories, myself and the Aarakocra.
Really? They have a place to worship Ubtao?
They call Ubtao the guardian, but the links in faith are there.
I see.
Perhaps Ubtao called them here.
That might be a possibility, as Goal kind of perks up at that. Maybe.
The other things that I found was we also swapped stories about the plane of air they came from. A legend about the Seven.
Ah, okay. As Gold just kind of nods like he thinks he knows what you're talking about.
But with that being said, I know for a fact that we can trust them as stalwart allies.
So, this whole cart building deal that you're assembling, who's that for? As Gold just kind of looks towards Elise and Rue.
What was this question?
Who's the cart for?
She just kind of motions around our exceedingly large group.
Yeah, we got almost 20 people. We kind of need this.
Yeah, truth be told, that the house is getting rather cramped. At least once we get to Nyanzaru, we can at least free up some of the space and go our respective ways. Who knows, there might be something else in the jungle that might need our help. Well, I, for one, would certainly want to visit Father. It's been too long. One of the sister chimes in.
Ah, yes, more people to help in the jungle. More people to put in the house. Sure, it'll be fine.
You know, as Shago kind of steps out and just kind of makes his way over, if you do want to possibly earn some pay, you could possibly go in with the Flaming Fist. They're always looking for able-bodied people to help assist with the undead. I could put in a good word for you. The three of them just kind of give a weird side eye towards Shago. We'll see about that. Goal seems... he kind of keeps up. Maybe I might take you up on that. I'm not sure how those two feel. We'll see when we get to Nyanzaru. We appreciate the offer, though. Yes, we do.
It'll only take us about 3 or 4 days, give or take.
A lot of time to decide by then.
So, let's see. As you guys just kind of go to have dinner, and you know, begin to put your finishing touches on the cart, what do you guys want to do from here? It's probably been, let's see, it's been about 2-3 hours, I think.
How I can help is I can go ahead and help with just being big and lured. I can Only slightly. Only slightly. I can go ahead and help with loading up anything in the cart. I can go ahead and help with tasks like that. I can also go ahead and help with various aid that still needs to be given to Aarakocras before we leave, or have we already?
I think this is still the same day, right?
Right.
It's
Yeah, I was gonna
tomorrow
say-
we're setting off.
Yeah, it's at this point as you guys are. It's starting to get dim out. It's getting pretty close to dusk.
I can help in any sort of a way with the Aarakocra. I can go ahead and help out. With the royals, sharing just my order and whatnot. I can go ahead and help out with that. If of guarding and escorting them from upstairs to down here.
Yeah, I think at least probably having at least some of us up there, like, during the night, just in case anything else happens, would probably be good.
Probably have the people that can fly up there to transport people up and down.
So yeah, I can help with either the labor force or the diplomatic force or even the guardian force, depending on what you guys want me to do.
I think wanting to have our big mighty paladin who can smite up protecting the royals is the best.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds good.
And I'll take Tyrant Bane up because I should probably be up for transport.
Just a big minotaur just holding a twig, going, "Hello, children."
Hello there, children. Hey, Tyrant Bane.
I love that you basically just became our Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Our thing bad. Why bad?
All right. So we currently have Dan and Tyrant Bane currently flying back up to Kir Sabal. What are the rest of you going to be doing?
At this point, Rue's doing kind of idle chores. She's gonna water the lily, her black lily. She'll let the lizards do their bug hunting or whatever they need. She'll play with the little pumpkin kids at this point.
All right. So you're going to be wandering the Black Lotus and playing with the Squashlings.
Enoch will just use, like I said, a bunch of the junk from our collective inventory to fashion the necessary bridal attachment for the cart, and then just settle down to probably hang out and watch up towards the cliff while he doesn't sleep in case anything happens.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then we have Dan and Tyrant Bane going up. What are Elise and Zeno going to be doing?
Zeno would stay down.
All right, so you're going to be staying with Henrietta. Elise?
She'll probably stay with. She'll probably stay down with Zeno just to keep company.
All right. So this is how we're going to be splitting the party. Yes, Dust is going to be coming up. It's fine. Nothing bad's going to happen.
I totally
Well,
believe you.
Oh
And
yeah.
also, totally
Isn't he the
believe
most
you.
trustworthy?
Yes.
Yeah, we trust him completely.
You dare not... I was going to say, no, that's bad saying it like that, but you would not trust your god.
An immediate bad start.
No.
I know.
No, Caitlin, that was a 10 out of 10. He needs to just no notes on that execution.
Also, to be fair, Milla, the god of this land literally peaced, and the only other gods we've met have all been confirmed dicks.
Shanti's
game
all
for-
right.
The reason I'm like,
True.
fine.
True, Shanti's the only one we actually can trust.
Yeah,
Above game,
there was
the
mention
reason
of
I'm having,
Caliborn, but, the dead.
sorry, I keep interrupting, but above game, the reason I'm having Zeno stay down is if something happens, it'd probably be best for him not to be up there. And I don't want to have to roll for if we have to do another spell or anything like that.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah. Cutting to Dan and Terrapane, as you make your way back up, where specifically are you guys going to be heading? To the monastery, I assume?
Figure out where they want to, like, hang out, I guess, for the night.
I will be going to talk to the headbird, the beard in charge, the BIP.
Yes, Ashara.
Yes, I will be talking to Ashara about guarding the royals' chambers for tonight as they go ahead and prepare and get everything ready. While I'm up there, I'll also let Ashara know that I also have a couple more healing spells and things I can go ahead and do if anybody needs any aid, or if any of the birds still have achy wings or whatnot.
All right. We'll say that during the course of the short rest, let's see, you have had to expend, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20. We'll say 30 HP of your lay on hands.
Okay.
Would be enough to get the injured Aarakocra back up, and that was during
I had
spell.
20 left, but I do have some cure wounds, so let me go ahead and cast that a couple times.
Okay.
Okay. There's a... No, don't tell me what it does. Do it. Do the thing.
Do the thing!
Do the
Thing, gosh.
Just do it.
do. Fine. Cast at level 1, yes.
Do the thing!
Okay.
Say the line, Bart.
Fine. 1d8 plus my spellcasting modifier. Do it this way. There. You know what? There's the 10 right there. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Hot damn in a pancake.
Alright. So,
All right.
you meet up with Ashara, and you explain that to her, and she nods and agrees. Very well, you may guard Her Highness and His Majesty.
Very well.
And I would like to see you all off in the morning, if that's possible, as well as some of the others. But yes, you are more than welcome to sleep. Curfew is almost time, so just make sure you're inside after dark.
Of course.
And then within an hour, you're required to sleep. And then when the morning comes, you'll be asked to help with typical upkeep before the dawn approaches. That's all we ask. As Ashara just kind of lays her hand down on your shoulder.
Very well. I will see this done.
All right. And
Just a cow's head just pokes through the door of the royals going, I will be guarding.
oh, as Na just kind of stares up at you and you look a lot bigger in person than when I met you at dinner.
Do you really think so? I actually am average size for the people of my tribe.
Really?
Ah, yes. Now Trailanx, that's a minotaur with some size on him. 8 feet tall.
Well, that is...
And Zal.
Amazing.
Zal's practically a hill in his own right. Towering. Even towers above Childar and Trailanx combined. He was so hard to navigate in that dungeon. Just like, I want to get you up there, but you're too big, buddy.
Moxrani just kind of gives you a slight head tilt as she's trying to, assess your capabilities. Very well, I shall trust you to
Of
place
course.
us in your care. But
Yes.
if anything were to happen to us, I will be sure to give a strong tongue lashing to you and to Enoch. As she kind of does the about face and just kind of makes her way towards her bed. She does that little half spin around and then just flops backwards into her bed.
Of course. I'll be just outside the door if you need anything.
Nobody is allowed outside of their hovels after curfew, so You're more than welcome to stay by the door at least.
Oh, is that how that? Of course. Then
Yes.
just awkwardly just hoof slide over to the door.
Not just kind of nods at you. Yes, that's how they do it around here. The Aarakocra sure love their rules, and we need to abide by them. You're telling me, as Roddy just huffs at that.
Is it really so bad? Tyrant Bane says with just a mirthful smile.
It's like Roddy just kind of pipes up. It's like they like the rules more than they like to do anything else around here. That makes sense. Even for worshipping the dukes that they tend to.
Well, in that notion, everybody and every tribe and cloister that I've seen is different in their own ways. Some like to go ahead and just wander and map out the jungle. Others like to go ahead and adhere to rules. Others, like my tribe, like to go out and just make sure that Omu still stands. Smite strong beasts, large dinosaurs, of which we go ahead and make more arms and whatnot to go ahead and help bolster things. Everyone's different in their own way. The moment dawn approaches and you leave these walls, you will be privy and access to so many different people. And so many stories everyone has. Such as Dan and his weird... Well, you've seen Henrietta. That thing is... Wow.
What's
Have
a
you
Henrietta?
seen that? That thing is amazingly
I don't
weird.
think they have seen Henrietta yet, because they've been up here this whole time. That's gonna be tomorrow.
I want you to imagine a large home of architecture that's unbeholden even to me, because I don't know what European houses look like.
I mean, technically, the house is supposed to look like one from Omu because that's what we use, but we have art existing.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what
I'm willing to say that the magic transformed it to European style.
and and it's lifted on the legs of great beasts.
So it is like a caravan, is what you're saying. As you actually hear in your voice, oddly enough, the voice of Ronnie.
When I hear that, I'll like jump back and just like look to my left and right really fast and go, what? Oh, you do the same thing as Dan. That is interesting. Thinking I will never get used to this feeling.
Very
Oh,
well, Braves tonight. I grow bored, and it is getting late. I must retire. Good night.
Of course. Good eve to you both.
Alright, and on that note, considering it's getting pretty close to the time, that actually seems like a good place to end our session for the night.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, well, that's been fun and awkward. And I also realized I think I have the perfect gift for something I'll share in the general chat. Give me 1 second. But, yeah, how about we start with outros since we are wrapping up. Caitlin, where can people find you?
Hello, I'm Caitlin C37. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter, Caitlin C37, where I do art. Commissions are open, so if people want any paintings, you can find me there.
Lovely.
Fantastic.
Milla, where can people find you?
Well, you can find me here. You can find me on Twitter at MilloNinjaNerd. You can find me on Twitch at MilloNinja. You can also find me on Twitch Monday nights at twitch.tv/LeJake, where I play through Trials of Eidos, part of the Dragon Queen, as Duster, the Kenku Battlemaster fighter. And yeah, aside from that, not much else is really going on my end. Things have just been kind of shaking up, but more details to come about stuff potentially further down the road. But yeah.
All right. DeLuna, where can people find you?
Hello, you can find me on Twitter at Deluna1338, on Twitch and YouTube at Deluna13. Tomorrow, grind stream for Pokemon, or me and Draco Soling that we've been doing. Like, I have to get... Unfortunately, I lost one of my party members last night's stream, so I had to get her up to level 27. Or from 27 all the way up to 50, so that's gonna be a time. Thursday, you like Final Fantasy VII, the original one, not the remake? I'm playing that. Join me over my Twitch, it'll be fun. That's it for me for right now, because I don't know what else we're gonna be doing. Actually, I'm gonna be doing Draco for Kingdom Hearts on Friday, but that's about it for this week.
Alrighty. Chaka, where can people find you?
Hi, you can find me here on Tuesdays playing Elise. You can find me over on Twitter at ChacoZombie101. You can find me over on twitch.tv/TwitchThePerson for Power Rangers Cyber Strike, which will most likely be migrating days. We haven't decided which day yet, but when we find out which day that is, we will keep you posted.
Alrighty, Draco, where can people find you?
Find me on YouTube as Draco Magnus. My VODs go there and some clips. You can find me on Twitter at DMagnus, and you can find me here on Twitch at Draco_Magnus. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays. Around 9:30 p.m. East Standard Time, usually 10 p.m. East Standard Time, varies. On Wednesdays, we do Ocarina of Time. We're about to finish Ocarina of Time off. Go up to Ganondorf's castle and punch him in the nose. Well, we have a
big old
sword.
schnoz.
Yes, exactly.
Or kick him in the dick.
And because that's going to be happening, I actually have a poll that, well, there's only 3 hours left to it, but I can post the poll in here. I don't know if I can post it in the chat, but we got to decide what Legend of Zelda game we're going to do after we finish off Ganondorf. Currently, the child timeline is winning, which means if it does win, we go to Majora's Mask next. The failed timeline, I believe the next game is Link to the Past, and the adult timeline starts with Wind Waker. On Thursdays, I have my own D&D group with Odyssey, a Rhapsody of Fire. The heroes have finally finished up getting their preparations ready, and they're off to their next labor. I will say, I do need to speak with the group. One of our players is having some serious computer troubles. We don't know how long it's going to take him to fix that, so that might not happen. I'll let you know on my Twitter if things change. And on Fridays, like Dylan said, you can catch both of us for Kingdom Hearts, Reply to Chain of Memories, Reverse Rebirth. We are going to be going to the Destiny Islands in Riku's world card to see if he's worthy of seeing his friends again. Zexion has made him think some things about what's going on, and we got to see if we can pull him out of that funk. And that will do it for me.
Rabbit, where can people find you?
Hey, what's going on? My name's Rabbit. I'm a writer and I'm also a comedian. You can go ahead and find me on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at Hey Mr. Rabbit. You can catch all my VODs up on YouTube. Everything's going A-okay. I stream Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. If that seems like something you guys want to go ahead and do, I stream mostly RPGs and horror games. I've been getting into a new RPG called Crosscode, which is really, really cute. It's like a sci-fi dot hack secret of mana kind of thing. It's really nice. In that edition, also like playing retro games and just everything under the sun. So if you want to have a good giggle, go ahead and kick it with me. Just come on down to Rabbit Town. Hey, Mr. Rabbit, twitch.tv. Bada bing, bada boom.
Alrighty, and you've already found me here at twitch.tv/BurnoutVaughn. You can find me on YouTube and Twitter at the same thing. Not much on the docket for this week because most of our D&D games will be wrapping up or continuing coming up on next week. But we might still find a chance for more cringy speedruns in Neon White with myself, XWiley Willy, and the Citric King, because that game is getting surprisingly more in-depth. Though, dear lord, the things that are happening. I was not prepared for extremely shirtless quasi-Sephiroth yelling at Steve Bloom.
Huh.
Yes! Like, they found a way to make Sephiroth more sexually tense. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, okay.
More sexually tense? So that this happens shirtless the entire time?
Yes! His nipples are always hard and always pointed straight at us, so... if you want to see how that's going, the first 2 episodes are up on YouTube now. You can check them out. or possibly check out our next stream. We have to see if we have an availability this weekend. But aside from that, I think it's time to raid. And we're going to go over and raid one Distortion Devil because he'll be competing in a Digimon tournament held by one of our good friends, one Mr. Zacko Duo, coming up, I believe, this Saturday. So if you want to see his training for that...
Oh, that'll be rad.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I believe he's playing with Count Widget, who's also going to be in the tournament. So
And Mark Allen Jr.
Yes. A lot of people will be in. You should probably check Zacko Duo's Twitter to find out who all will be there. But before we do that, we have to get the quote of the session, which goes to Rue for awkward windy cough.
Yay!
Yay.
Yeah, how
Yay.
about our raid message is simply windy cough?
Windy cough.
Windy cough.
All right. Thank you all for coming out, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Buddy.